Hey guys, welcome to Eurospares. Today we've got a really fun one. I'm joined by none other than the main man, Mr. Ratarossa. We're going to whip around his cars, have a little look at sort of what's going on, and also we've obviously supplied a load of bits, so we'll see where we've helped Scott and perhaps where we can help Scott.
This is where most of your bits end up, right?
Exactly.
So, shall we start with the one that kind of built my channel?
I think so, man. This is where I found you from.
So this is the probably the most crazy Testarossa, one of the most crazy Ferraris in the world. So this is a Testarossa with a bit of a difference.
It seems missing. There's a bit missing.
There's a big bit missing on this one, but that's the fun part of this car. So I bought this car getting on for 10 years ago now, and this imported from the US was £16,000, and I've probably spent maybe a few more on it, but this as it stands owes me less than £20,000, and it's a genuine 1987. So it's got the twin mirrors and it's got the center lock wheels like this, so it's an amazing car. And that's the crazy thing, is that this is by far the cheapest Ferrari I ever bought, and yet it's the most well-known, and it created a career for me.
That's it, man.
It's cool. Let's have a little look around it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the money shot is under here. It's really well built. It's really well put together, and this came with the genuine engine lid stray here. For
that's factory.
This was factory. That was carved out of one of the trees in the Maranello factory. But I love things like this. I mean, I didn't do this conversion. I really honestly think that somebody was drunk one night and thought it would be a great idea to chop the roof off, because like they literally hashed it. The cut was horrendous. But they've used things like door hinges on the back here.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, literally door hinges.
But that is literally a door hinge.
Yeah, and but the cool thing is, you know, this is all genuine. It's a Testarossa engine and gearbox. It is this is called the Ratarossa. It is literally a ratty car. It was all recycled. All of this leather here was the original roof panel. Everything's genuine on it. It's all from an 87 Testarossa. I don't know if it was all from the same 87 Testarossa, but it's got 17,000 miles on the dash. It's a fun car.
How many miles have you put on it?
Probably a few thousand. Probably about 3,000 or 4,000, something like that. I don't use it that often because it has no roof. There is no roof on this.
And we're not in California.
This came from California. Yeah. It's not your typical British car to use, yeah, because we suffer with a little thing called weather here.
Which is so funny because today is actually not bad.
It's actually all right, but there's few days of the year where you can go, right, I'm going to go for a 3-hour drive and guarantee that it's going to be dry. Yeah, I've been caught short in this car a few times where we've got very wet, which is all part of the fun of it. And I did get the electric windows working once. They don't work anymore. So when it
But they did work at one point.
They did work at one point. But when it does rain, the wipers come this way because it's left-hand drive. So if I'm in the car with Lexi, she stays dry over here, but then all the water comes in and just soaks me down here. So it's
perfect winter beater.
It's a cool car. I love it. And as I say, you know, bang for your buck. This is the most fun you can have. 16
100%.
Grand.
But the thing is, this will always have a really special place in my heart because I found this car obviously when Matt Farah came over and did his one take of it.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's kind of, I think that for you saying that was the first time you were ever on camera.
Yeah. So I ended up taking a little bit of time out one winter, probably no, not even that. 2018, and we were building this. And I suddenly thought, you know, I wonder if anyone would really enjoy this story. So I wrote to a few of the magazines that I read, all the car magazines, a few YouTubers, and everyone was like, hell yeah, we want the story. So Matt ended up flying over from the US. We did a one take on this, and we did it on my daily driven challenge Stradale. And I naively thought, this YouTube lark is very easy. I'm going to do this. Yeah, why not? Let's have a bit of fun. And well, yeah. You live and you learn the hard way sometimes.
The rest is history,
but that was
man.
it created the channel. This car and that video created my YouTube channel and what I fortunately get to do every day now.
That's so cool, man. Should we go have a look inside?
Let's do it. So this is kind of my mini Euro spares in here. Yeah, this is where we keep some of the fleet. So we got a 308 here. This is a 1982 GTSI. Original colours, so grey over black, so it's quite period correct. Ferrari did that in the late 70s, early 80s. They made these two-tone cars. But the story on this, I managed to speak to the original owner, and he said that he had taken it to Wayne Carini of Chasing Classic Cars and said, can you respray this? Rosso Corsa, maybe yellow. And Wayne was like, absolutely no way on earth. I'm not touching it. He said it's extremely rare in this colour form and it just looks great. So
because it's very similar to the boxes, right? Where they kind of coloured up a bit and then the black lower bit. It's a really iconic.
It's the same era. This is an 82. I like this one. It's a good car. And again, for your money, 308s are a good investment, I think.
And the one thing that I noticed when I was first having a look at it is that it's kind of letting the Ratarossa side down because the interior is pretty much perfect.
Other than being a bit dusty in there because we've got the windows open, it is perfect because we just had it all retrimmed.
It's so nice.
So we're getting there with it. It's nearly done. We've got a few little things to finish off, and then for other reasons, this is probably going to go. We might find out later on. We'll see about that later on in the video. So the 456, again, you'll notice a lot of my cars, the Rat, this, they're all left-hand drive. Most of them came from the US. This one came from Beverly Hills Car Club. Again, common theme, this was a non-runner. This had been parked up over the winter. Something that happens quite often with these is if you park them and you don't use them for months, it causes all kind of problems. So this has got in-tank fuel pumps, got some rubber in there, that all disintegrated, worked its way through the system, and it was a very, very simple fix. We changed the filters, we changed the pumps, so like a couple of £100, fired up straight away.
Ran perfectly, that's awesome.
Then there's a few other problems. The 456s suffer with a few common issues, window drops, cat ECUs. This had them all. So
you got the full smorgasbord.
Yeah. And then I think I went for a little bit of a midlife crisis. I bought 6 Ferraris in one go from the US, and I think 4 out of the 6 were non-runners, and so it creates content. Let's put it that way.
But you know, man, it's so on brand, and we'd expect
but
nothing
this
less.
again was a very cheap 456, and I really love the colour scheme on this one. It's a kind of charcoal grey, and it's got this kind of baseball glove tobacco interior. So.
And what spec is it? Is it a GTA M?
Unfortunately, it's a GTA. Yeah,
Fine.
So it's auto gearbox. However, when I drove it, I was blown away at how much power this thing has got.
They're shockingly fast.
It's a fun car, so don't knock the GTA. It's a good car. So yeah, I think this one will. I love it. It's such a cheap car. These were, I think, almost 200 grand in the mid 90s when they first came out. Getting on for 200 grand, and nowadays you can pick them up for just over 30. So it's a lot of Ferrari for your money.
It is a lot of Ferrari.
And it's a 2+2 as well. I don't want to part with it because it's so cheap. It's a lot of car, but I need the space.
You do indeed. And then that's a nice little segue. Let's talk about this unit, because this is a new unit, right? This is the second one.
This is a new unit. I lost my double garage at the house, and I managed to get this at the same time, which is great. We're working on it at the moment. We're trying to make it winterproof and a little bit more kind of aesthetically pleasing for filming. And the nice thing about this is we've got actually height in here. So at some point, we'll be maybe putting a bit of a lift system over here so we can work on some cars. The big one that's coming is going to get built here.
So what have we got in here?
Okay, so we have got a couple of cars. This one being the main one. Again, this one was a really big one on the channel. This really grew the subscribers. And this was a really cool story. A friend of mine found this. It was on a Facebook group and it had been doing the rounds, and he messaged me. He's like, I found the perfect car. You're going to love this. He sent me the details and I'm like, you're absolutely kidding. That's a Boxer. Someone has left a Boxer on a driveway. And I did something I really would never normally do. It's completely out of my comfort zone. We were still actually in the whole COVID situation at the time. So we couldn't move too much, we were restricted with what we could do. But I was able to get in the car, drive down to Gloucester, find this, and just literally knocked on the door and said, can you tell me about this car? Can I film it? Can I save it? Yeah, can I just clean it for you? So you can put a picture on the screen of how this car looked when we found it.
I remember it well.
But this is a 1983 512 BBI. It has got 6,420 miles on it. It is the only right-hand drive BBI built in white, so it's a very, very unique car. And sadly, the guy bought it. I don't know the full story why he parked it up. He bought it, he literally used it for a month. He put it on his driveway and it just sat there, open to the elements, no cover on it or anything like that. And the British weather did its thing and literally killed the car. Fortunately, the one nice thing was it was all sealed up, and amazingly the interior was really, really good, apart from the leather on the seats, but the exterior really had suffered. So I managed to convince the owner. It took me 6 months. He was then able to, he sold it to me, and then my original plan was actually to just get this car running and driving and enjoy it and use it. But then like the YouTube channel, the audience kind of took me down the route of doing a nut and bolt restoration, which is what we're kind of still doing at the moment.
Stunning.
This is the engine from it. This is what we're just filming at the moment. We've actually got to figure out what the problem is with this car. Now, as far as I kind of got with this one, cylinder 12 was low on compression. So we think we had a head gasket problem over here. So we're just going to sort that out, but we're going to rip this one apart. Before we do that, I've got to get an engine gasket set, and the problem is I took it apart 3 years ago. So everything in these boxes here, everything in the back there, in all the boxes, everything down here is all the nuts and bolts to put this together. So we're just making sure we haven't lost anything. We're kind of just semi-putting it together, and then it's going to go off. My guys down at RE Performance are going to go through this one, get it sweet as a nut. Actually, that was the thing with this car, and that's probably the next video on this one, is that one of the things that I really had suffered with was 2 points. One is the interior, how far to go with doing it. You know, you want to try and keep as much originality in the car as possible, but if you sit on those seats, they're like cardboard. They just rip every time. So we've got to retrim them. The other one was, who can help me with the engine? Who is the right person to go through this one? And we've got Ricky on board now. So
I mean, look, if he can build 2,000 horsepower R8 engines, he'll be able to do this.
This is the doddle. He can do this in his sleep. So Ricky's going to be doing this. And then the final bit on the BBI will be just putting it back together and sorting out the interior. We've got a load of bits down here. We've got loads of it's been rebuilt. We've done all the alternators. We've got to do all the fuel metering units. We've had a load of stuff here, powder coated and especially crinkle finish, properly done. So it's going to be a very, very, very nice BBI.
That's cool, man.
This is a 328 GTS. This one, it was built or was bought for another project that the project took a bit of a turn in an amazing direction. So this was going to be used as a tribute for an F40. So we were going to use the chassis, we were going to use the paperwork so it still retained it as a Ferrari, and then we were going to reclothe it with genuine F40 panels. So it would have looked as an F40, and then don't know what lump we would have put in the back, something tasty. This is just the engine out of this car, but we would have put something a bit more meaty in it. But I bought it, and this came from Canada, as it was on its way over, something cool happened, and you will have to watch the channel to figure out what happened with that one. But we don't need this anymore. Let's put this is surplus to requirements. So
Indeed.
This is something that we have other plans on now, and actually I'll be going to Eurospares because we're going to pick up some parts for the future project on this car, which will be after the next big build, or at the same time actually.
Yeah.
So this is just sat here. So you know, I'm quite lucky. We've got a surplus 328 here that is a pretty much a complete car. It had a smashed up front end, which is quite an easy fix actually. It was just a front frame there, which we've got the replacement frame from. We've got the engine. So I could easily just rebuild it as a 328 and just sell it if we needed to, but we're gonna have some fun with this one.
Yeah, that's going to be an exciting
So that's that. We've got a few missing from here at the moment. We've got another 308, my 360 Challenge Stradale. That's my daily driven car. That's being off. We're having that one fully redone on the outside. My guy is down at Live 9 Live Customs. Jake's doing that, the exterior. He's doing an amazing job on that one. And we're getting the interior retrimmed by my mate Claudian. So that has been a daily driven Ferrari for 15 years. And the nice thing about that story is I have used it and abused it and enjoyed it many miles per smiles. But now we're going to restore that one and prove that you can enjoy a car and still after 15 years you can make it look mint again.
Freshen it up.
So we've got a few little things kicking around here. That's going on that is Challenge Stradale rear screen. That's about $6,000 for one of those things.
Love that.
Polycarbonate rear screen. Yeah, there's a few little clues around here for one of the future builds. We've got a rear
Bit of mesh.
Real bit of mesh. Very expensive bit of rear mesh there. That's a big clue. What else have we got? We got a spoiler up there. That's a genuine spoiler from one of the cars.
Car of some sort.
That's actually wall art because we're not using that spoiler. We're using something slightly different. Yeah.
Bit spicier.
Bit spicier. Yeah. So this is my red wall. This is my red side here. We're gradually growing the red bits here. And then there's a few other bits over here really that kind of might give the game away. This is Stradale. This is going in the Strad. There's a few Strad bits over there. We stripped out the interior, but then we've got a seat here from a specific car. Don't know what that is.
No.
No?
Not sure if the label
No.
next to it gives it away.
No. And then
Fuel tanks up at the top.
we got fuel tanks there, which is a slight change in the car that we're building. Just actually over time that saves money, a lot of money by doing it, and I think it's a bit safer as well. We'll give a few little clues away. We got this thing here. That's from a specific car, if you know. These little bits here. So yeah, we have boxes and boxes of parts here for the most exciting build I'm ever going to do, and probably most people are ever going to see.
And honestly, I think that YouTube might ever see. And actually, you may have seen on our Instagram, we have got your old 348.
You have.
Because we did a bit of a deal, didn't we?
We did, actually. I think let's cut the camera.
Yeah.
Let's get some of these boxes out. Cool. And this is going to be a big bit of kind of content that no one has seen at the moment. Yeah.
Let's do it.
We did that deal, and this is what we did it for. Okay, so we've got a few little bits out here. Now, this is really some inside information for what's happening in the future. Let's start with some interesting boxes. Yeah, there's actually 4 boxes here. Now, the crazy thing about these 4 boxes is I've done a deal with James, Mr. Euro Spares, and we swapped a complete Ferrari 348, which everyone saw on my channel. Everyone was not happy because I didn't quite finish the project. We did a full respray on it. We did the interior. We just didn't finish the engine on it. And the reason, it's going to be in my videos, we're going to give you an inside peek here, is because James had some very specific parts I need for my dream project. And I basically swapped a whole car for 4 boxes. These are the 4 boxes that a complete Ferrari 348 is valued at. Number 1 is a box of shock absorbers here. So these are Coney shocks, and these are not just normal Coney shocks. They've got this top part here, which is a custom part made for Ferrari, for 19 specific Ferraris. These are F40 LM shock absorbers, genuine. I don't know how James gets these things. So that was box number 1. We got a set of shocks, front and rear. Box number 2 is even more tasty, this one. So this is, again, specific to those 19 cars. This is pretty much brand new F40 LM brake calipers. There were a few F40s that had a bit of an upgrade. F40 braking systems is not the best. You know, it's one of the Achilles heels of the F40 if you really use the car. And some people upgraded them to LM brake systems. So we've got LM brake system going on my car. So we've got LM shocks, LM brakes, LM discs down here, and then the final box of the 4 was literally a box of vents again.
Vents and ducts and pipes and
carbon fibre, and again used on the F40 LM. 4 boxes, 1 car. Sacrifices have been made, big sacrifices to create the dream car. So amongst all these boxes, all of this actually that we've laid out is part of the F40 project. So let's give you a few little tasty and
there's some really special stuff here, man. Like those,
Yeah.
there's not those F40 LM shocks. There's not many of those. lying around.
Well, they made
Same
19
with those calipers.
cars. I know the guys at Coney. Coney got involved with this project, and they very kindly refurbished the 6 shocks. It's got 2 shocks on the back of each side of this. They refurbished those for this car. So we got the original shocks, and they look like new. They're probably better than new. They're absolutely mint. And I actually spoke to Coney about supplying me some of these, and they can't even do it. They can't even make them anymore. And this, like I say, is the top part that goes.
Let me get a touch.
That is the rear shock. That sits in the hole in the top of the chassis. So it's quite different to the normal shocks on an F40.
I mean, this is the thing about our warehouse, man. It's just like Aladdin's cave. Every time I walk through there, and I walk through there every single day I'm at work, obviously, I'm like, where the hell did we get that? We've got an LM002 bonnet.
Mate,
what?
I was privileged to film there, and I was like a kid in a sweet shop. It's unbelievable. And I think when I filmed there, the original plan at the time was to build the F40 Tribute. So we were not rebuilding a real one. Another bit of insider information. So some of those parts were just like, oh my God, how have you guys got this? I mean, I still don't know how James, his black book, his must be amazing, right?
It's pretty sweet.
So we're not just building an F40, we're rebuilding an F40 to LM spec using genuine parts, a lot supplied by Eurospace. So that's the boxes, that's what it costs with an F348. We are going with the NKOZ wheels, very, very, very rare. This is the only one I've got at the moment. This is the front, and this is huge, right? I've got one kind of bit of worrying how we're going to steer this F40, because the front tyres on the LM are a 295 width profile tyre, 18 inch. And there need to be 18s on the LM to be able to house the bigger brakes. So,
but I mean, these are just the coolest wheels of all
they
time.
are, you know, I hate to say it, they are a sexy wheel.
They genuinely are.
Very, very sexy wheel. And like, once I get something in my head, I am dead set. So when I, decided to do it, we were always going to build an LM. So actually the front clam that is on my car is a genuine LM clam that actually came from Eurospares, and there's a history on that. We'll come to that in my video, but it's a genuine one of 19 LM clams. So I just think it looks more simple. There's no pop-up lights in it, and it's wider, and it just looks menacingly mean.
And the rear wing is so much cooler.
Rear wing, yeah, we've got a genuine normal wing up there, but we're going with the carbon wing on the...
we love to hear it.
Yeah, so we got that. So what else have we got here? So we've got the wheels. We got all the crazy stuff here. These are F40 intercoolers. Here's a crazy one for you. How much, Dylan, do you think this rubber here, there's about 8 of these on the F40 engine. How much do you think that roughly is?
Okay, how much is it, or how much should it be?
How much is it? Yeah. It should be 10 quid.
Exactly, but
right.
How much are they really?
I think it's about 1,000 euros.
What?
Each. There's like 8 or 10 of them in the engine, yeah? Something like that. Like there's a slightly smaller one that are slightly cheaper by maybe a couple of €100, but yeah, the ones I've seen, about 1,000 euros.
That's it.
That's the insane prices.
Insane.
And the craziness of Mr. Ratarossa trying to build his dream car on no budget, yeah.
But I will say this: I mean, there are expensive spare, but you're not cutting any corner. I mean, like for example, you've literally got actual floor mats.
Floor mats, genuine floor mats from an F40. Obviously, it's a bare Kevlar floor on the F40, and that's it. That's
all you get.
That's the only other bit you get on it. Yeah, so they go on there. We've got some other cool stuff here. We got one little bit missing. The rest of these clocks came brand new. Most of them from Euro Spares. We've got the rev counter missing here. I need James to do me a very, very good deal on a rev counter. That's the only clock we got missing. We've got all the other three in the centre of the console. So that is a 0 mile.
Delivery mileage 40 when it's done.
Well, yeah, you're going to find out something very cool about my one when we start filming that. So we've got that. One thing that we're going to be doing on my car is, what else have we got here? We've got fuse boards. We've got the original exhaust system. That's not going on mine. We're going to do something a bit more tasty. We are going to change something and put the metal tanks in the alley tanks.
Which is essential.
Tanks.
I mean, for people that don't know, basically the F40 as standard runs fuel bags, right, like bladders.
All the Euro models, yeah. The
exactly.
US
And the US
models
had the alley
tanks.
But the issue with the bags is that you've got to replace them every so often, and
8 to 10 years, isn't it?
They are a fortune. They're what, like 20 or 30 grand if you can get them.
I think they are now. If you get the genuine Ferrari supplied ones, they're something like 12 and a half grand each side. So 2 of those. Plus, it's something like 20 hours labour because you've got to remove all the suspension and all the to be able to get them in. So you're talking about a 30 grand bill at the end of it.
Which is just nuts. So this is a very smart move, mate.
Very smart move. And maybe they're a little bit heavier. I think they're going to be safer.
100%.
And it's not going to cost me because I can't afford 30 grand every 10 years.
No.
And by the time I get to do that first set, it'll probably be 50 grand.
Yeah.
No Ferrari. So yeah, we've got that. We've got 3 big boxes here full of other parts that all of them are tiny little bits, but the sum of the parts is insane.
That's it.
That is F40 ECUs to go in the car. All of the stuff that we got is matching numbers. So this all comes from the car that we've bought, which is a 1990 cat car, non-adjust.
Amazing. So you haven't got to deal with that suspension.
Haven't got to deal with the suspension. Obviously, the purist would be non-cat. I'd love to do that, and we're going to remove them anyway. But you know, the early cars are the ones that really are sought after. But when you're a pauper like me and no budget, you take what you can get. So it's pretty cool.
When a pauper's buying his F40.
Yeah. Crazy. So we got rad there. We got all the little oil rad further back there. All the pipes. These all came from James. Just a mixture of I bought the last wiper arm for an F40. There's some bits that aren't too bad. That was like 70 quid or something like that. But
that's pretty good going.
You can't get it again.
No.
That's it. And it's only on the F40. It's not on anything else. So little crazy things like that. We've got turbos kicking around somewhere. Just bags of little bits that.
And then there's obviously the seat behind you as well.
Not exactly sure what we do with this one. They're not cheap things.
No, because they've got obviously that Kevlar back.
Yeah. So we managed to pick this up, and it obviously needs a retrim on it. But as I said, we're kind of going down as much as possible down the LM route. Now the LM, I love these seats. It's actually comfortable, very comfortable, these seats. Maybe we'll go with the standard seats. We're kind of doing a mixture on the interior because I want to use the car. So we've got the standard cluster. We haven't got the digital dash on this one. So we're going to kind of have a standard LM, standard F40 with a little bit of a mixture of LM. So we might go LM seats because they are slightly different. But we'll see. It's all about that, which we have got none of. So
no, that's it.
We can change things in the future. We just got to get the build.
Get it running, and then you can mod it from there.
On the ground using it, and then we're cool. But yeah, that's a bit of inside information on what's to come on the channel very soon.
That's a proper scoop, guys. And Scott, man, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure to hang out. And we wish you all the
mate,
best.
likewise, I will be coming to you. Yeah, we got to return the favour. I need to have
100%.
another look in the Aladdin's cave.
We'll do that for sure, man. We'll get you over because we need to
find
get
some more
some bits for this.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool, man. All right, wicked. Catch you
All right,
soon.
guys. Cheers.